I remember about this stuff there. I remember, I remember about this stuff there. And basically Camus said, or basically wrote, not said, but they wrote about this book there. That there's a wrote this book. There's a freaking character there that is basically suffering there and suffering itself. Not really like just not suffering at basically in deep mood. If deep in deep sadness or basically it's basically a melancholic state, to be honest though, melancholic state there, or basically they're in gloom there. I remember I saw that in his heart itself there's a voice that basically said endure. Is this voice basically mocking itself? Is it mocking or basically jesting him? It was jesting him, or make him, or it makes him, or it makes him, or propel him, to make him or propel him, or did to stand himself, to stand or get back and his feet upright and just continue on though. There's this voice inside of us that tells us to move still, even though that basically we're ridiculously inert or basically impotent about it, or in impotence there against a circumstance or a situation itself or a phenomena itself that one cannot freaking win at all, dude. But what about basically we push it to the freaking extreme, to be honest there, when this world is basically a dystopia, to be honest there, a dystopia, a dystopia. As in a context as well, all that we know to cyberpunk or sci-fi is basically real already by now. It's just we're just living in a fucking Kali Yuga more than everything, to be honest though. Not just Kali Yuga, but much worse than Kali Yuga itself is decay inside. It's just the decay inside. We have a threshold or a self, or basically a limit itself, a thing that only us can withstand and endure or handle even. What the heck is this thing, to be honest, dude? What the heck is this thing there? To move forward, to be forgotten, to move forward, to be forgotten, or basically in just the shore itself, in the shore itself there, in in the shore, and still be in the shore. It's still an island without a foot, or not. There's an island does not bear a foot, does not bear a fruit. Each tree there are no coconuts or something though. That's pretty much it. Yeah, here on this position, the position B, to move or not to move, is the same. There's just to be and not to be, to be honest, to be or not to be though. But to be honest, if one sees the both views, to be honest, one sees both views. It is always like, what's the point? To be honest, what's the point? To be honest, though, one tries and tries and tries there, but this realm is just basically just inverted. It will just push you, to be honest, dude. And to be honest, all basically one and one's mind is just not its fault there. This thing, I will not name it. This thing will guilt. This thing will guilt you, trip you, go gaslight you. To be honest, there, gaslight you. Basically, freaking like weak or pathetic or not worthy and such there. Really pathetic and not worthy. And you know it that who actually created this thing or mind, the worst thing in existence there. You know what? You know it's the worst thing in existence, to be honest. What's the worst thing, to be honest, than mind itself there. This thing itself there called the ego itself there, or just basically its aspect. That basically all this thing does is basically thrives on its own, to be honest. Not thrives, but basically just it is just for survival, or our body is just for survival, which is freaking worthless, to be honest. Survival is freaking worthless, to be honest, dude. It's just an inhibitor itself there to enjoy life, to be honest. Why the heck in this world itself there, everything is basically on teleology itself there, or basically on ends, to be honest, or having like meaning to be used. As if the universe has a multiple freaking hands itself, has a multiple freaking hands itself. They're just basically using everything itself for itself, in order for itself to, in order for itself, in order for itself, in order for itself to survive and thrive. Energetically, energetic consumption, to be honest, there, or just a renewal of energy there. Basically, the universe will conceive something, it will conceive something itself there. This thing will grow, this ring will grow, the universe will devour it there. Its growth, or its growth, or basically its vital energy, when consumed, is basically on multiplication and multiplication, when it's actually lived there, when it actually lived. But now when consumed, it's, when it's consumed in multiplication, when multiplication after lived, and basically when consumed there, the universe will thrive at that there. Basically, it's basically crap and eat, crap and eat, eat, crap and eat. Basically drinking the rain every, drinking the rain every single day, in order for you, in order for one stuff there to survive repeated times. That's pretty much it. Mm. That's basically it though. You need to rest. We need something, like, we need something itself there is basically, we need something itself there to make, to basically escape from this freaking realm, to be honest, dude. Either for me, I'm trying basically reality shifting. I just forget the existence of this realm, forget basically my identity, to be honest, dude. Forget my identity, to be honest, dude. Forget the labels and forget the identity itself there. Specifically, like, living in this freaking, like, poor country, not poor country, but in Philippines, to be honest, dude. Philippines, to be honest, I don't know, like, every country is in itself there. It's just basically always the same deal, to be honest, dude. But to be honest, and just basically in this country itself there, and just basically in this such there, literally the most freaking pathetic country out of all the freaking countries, to be honest, dude. Filipino pride, baby. Filipino freaking pride. Freaking pathetic, to be honest, there. Freaking ignorance. So yeah, once again, like, once again, once again, it shows the basically, like, freaking, like, nationalism. The ego of men just increase with, alongside one another, to be honest there, or with another, to be honest, dude. It does not decrease at all, it just increase. And ironically, the group itself, which is an entity now, is is basically calling, like, an individual itself as selfish. How ironic, to be honest, dude. How ironic, to be honest, dude. That's pretty much it. And that's also the universe too, as well. If absolutely you do not contribute to the universe, you will be labeled as there's you will labeled as well there, or basically there's an inside of you there. There's an inside of you, or your mind will say that this is basically, no, this is a bad thing. You must contribute to this freaking universe, to be honest, dude. In order for you to live, in order for you to be happy to as well, you must contribute to this universe alone, dude. But to be honest, there, not not a soul but spirit, you do not need to contribute to this realm, to be honest, dude. And forget this thing exists. If you know basically the freaking, like, if you know Judas Priest itself, beyond the realms of death, in a nutshell, if you know that basically band stuff there, basically band stuff and that music there, yearning, yearning for something transcendent, or this thing itself there to be forgotten, to be honest, dude. That's a bad freaking horrible dream, to be honest, dude. That's pretty much it. When you feel foreign in yourself, not foreign in yourself, but for other people, you know that basically you're not here. That's basically a sign, or basically one of the levels, to be honest. There, being lucid, seeing that you're foreign, realizing that you're basically spirit, realizing that you're spirit. Before that, basically seeing that everything itself there is just false and lying, That's it. False and lying. That's basically false and lying. That's basically it there. This world this world is a slave to itself there. That's pretty much it. Or nature is just doing its nature thing, to be honest. That's pretty much it. This is kind of like I don't understand as well there though. I remember it basically there a fly. There's a fl- I remember as well there is basically there's a um I don't understand there, but basically like a fly. But basically in a nutshell, in the Philippines there's freaking like it's just basically like freaking like raining. There would be these flies and stuff that would come there, and every fly stuff would come there. It's just basically like surround, basically just kind of like moths. Basically the light or basically the bulb. That's pretty much it there, and we need to get rid of them there. But now I think that they're just doing their thing. To be honest, dude. If there's basically like a higher like intelligence itself there that cares for us there, not higher intelligence, but basically the higher intelligence that basically the kind of like sees humanity there. Oh my gosh, this freaking human itself there is freaking hitting a dog or something, or basically like freaking like interfering, not interfering, interfering with basically like wildlife. Humanity must be extinguished. Humanity must be extinguished, dude. To be honest, though, humanity, humanity in their perspectives need to be extinguished or apprehended. But we humans is just lazy, like, oh my gosh, humanity is freaking important. Yeah, humanity is freaking important. There, our lives just only matters there, and the other as well not. Other as well not there. And basically, that's the most ironic thing ever there because we have no empathy, because people have no freaking empathy to freaking one another because of freaking that thing. Just mind your boundaries, dude. That's basically said, basically not minor boundaries, but basically in They Live, this freaking movie there. There's like dude there said that, dude, just mind your own business there. And you see that this basically this freaking aliens, to be honest. And then the freaking more later in the movie, see this freaking aliens, to be honest, dude. Mind your freaking own business, dude. Yeah, it's a one spirit, or one's own spirit. If one wants to contribute to freaking that stuff with the society, it's not going to be society contribute to freaking. It's basically like basically the video itself is it's for the best for one soul, to be honest. What is the best for one soul, or basically spirit, to be honest? What is the best for a person, to be honest? That's pretty much it. What do you want really there? Like a Taoist way, just basically just see that thing and just basically like it's on its nature, freaking just do nothing, to be honest though. Or basically one there would be like Jesus and basically change everybody there. Or at least one is just really like mellow, just want the content. One is just mellow or just lo-fi, just basically helping like some spirit. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Let's just hear us out. Yeah, I know basically the silence, but yeah. Forget this reality. That's pretty much it. That's it.